something I realized that I can do as well now with the setup that I have is if we ever really wanted to, is I could do essentially a live intro in that, like, I could say something like, if the Skulkin brothers have 1 million fans, I'm one of them. If the Skulkin brothers have 5 fans, I'm one of them. If the Skulkin brothers have 1 fan, that one is me. And if Skulkin brothers have no fans, I'm no longer alive. If the world is against the Skulkin brothers, I'm against the entire world. Till my last breath, I'll support the Skulkin brothers.
And their dastardly deeds.
We all just sort of sat there and let you do it.
Yeah.
Oh, they made me laugh. They made me laugh.
Okay, yes.
They're the
All right,
best.
I will do our intro then and bring us in. Welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotsuben and Friends where we replay the entire Ace Attorney series with longtime fans and newcomers. I'm your host, Ben, and with me today is Dessy.
Hello.
And 2 good friends of ours, Tiago.
Yeah.
And Rose.
Hi.
Dessy and I are the longtime fans, and Rose and Tiago are the newcomers. We hope that through both of our perspectives as we play through the series, it'll reveal new details and provide interesting commentary for a series near and dear to us. Today, we have all played the second half of the 5th case of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. So, this is quite the massive courtroom segment after an equally massive investigation segment last time.
Mm-hmm.
So, how are folks feeling here after all this?
Oh, it was a long haul.
It was.
I think I feel pretty positively, more or less. No,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot. There's so much. There's so much to cover.
Yeah. And Tiago, how are you feeling?
I like it a lot. I have feelings about something, and I'll bring it up when appropriate.
Okay.
I have a feeling, and I don't know how to interpret it.
Ooh, okay. Well, then maybe we can dig into it together.
We'll try.
Okay.
I'm having a feeling, and I do know how to interpret it, which is I hate Iris's design, but I think I really like Iris, actually.
Okay.
She's a sleeper hit. I do love Iris.
She's grown on me, and I'm like, I still wish you didn't look like a League of Legends character, but I think they did good. I think they wrote her well, and she has charmed me successfully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Against my better judgment.
Yeah, of course, we have the 10-year-old prodigy thing.
Yeah, but like, I don't
character's
actually
good.
mind a child genius, if I'm honest. I'm like fine with it. As long as it's well written, and it almost never is.
True.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if you'd like, then I can dive us into the summary, which I think, again, we'll break up into chunks here. So, the trial begins. Ryunosuke, now with Iris at his side, observes as the first witnesses are called to the stand, Nash and Ringo Skulkin, the 2 crooks who robbed Windibank's pawnbrokery. Gregson takes the stand as well to supervise them. They testify that they were only there to steal and were unrelated to the killing of Windibank. They, however, also testify that they heard a gunshot behind the locked storeroom door. After much early back and forth with the 2 wacky criminals, Sholmes' security camera footage comes into play, showing Gina waving a gun around at Windibank. As a result, the entire jury votes guilty, and Ryunosuke begins his first summation examination very early on. The stereoscope proves useful in disproving the Skulkin brothers' claims and gives life back to the case. We then get into dealing with the gunshots, bullets, and blood found at the scene, as Ryunosuke uses Sholmes' blood test to determine that someone else was at the pawnbrokery that night. Unfortunately, this quickly gets tossed out as evidence, as it cannot be scientifically proven by the court, but it does give Ryu some time to gather more information from the Skulkin brothers. After showing that Sholmes was struck by a bullet in his pouch, the photo of Eggert Benedict comes up as the theorized other person present, and juror number 5 recognizes him as a fellow employee at her communications office. A 30-minute recess is called while he is summoned. During recess, Gina explains that she did pull Windibank's gun, but after the two had a conversation, he agreed to let her see the manuscript. Then he heard a noise, left the vault, and after a scuffle ran back in and was shot in the back, just as Ryunosuke theorized. She locked the door and then fainted. This solidifies Gina's story, but plenty still needs to be determined after the recess. And this is about when they summon our weird Eggert Benedict, or, as we soon learn, Ashley Graydon. But for now, I suppose we can talk a little bit about this first segment, which sets up the Skulkin brothers, who we heretofore had only seen as a shadowy presence during the investigation phase.
Yeah, like their arms.
But now we get to meet them in person, and folks, these are one of my favorite NPCs in this entire duology, and I think last time I said that one of my favorite animations that ever plays in the games plays for these two guys, and it is their whiff of a secret handshake that they do like
they
2 or 3 times.
literally fuck it up.
They really fuck it up.
It's so fucking good. I think it's the funniest shit. I don't know why it gets me. But
They're just such
I love these
charming
guys.
little Muppets, once again.
I know, we've got more Muppets here.
Muppets!
And, I know we're pre-biased to love the Muppets.
We're very Muppet pilled.
But yeah, these guys are really great.
Pavloved into Muppet enjoying.
I mean, I'd always choose a Muppet. That's not that's not a secret.
The other thing I was going to say is we also have our jury here, which has some familiar faces, such as, John Garadeb is here. He's the foreman. We have the maid who is cleaning here again. And then we have the stereoscope guy who's infatuated with stereoscopes. We have the old man who is now revealed to be a doctor because he's got a different outfit on. And he's got his hands up.
This could be a different guy. There's no way to know.
He's got his hands up with his gloves on the whole time. So to hit his decision button, he has to slam his forehead into the desk because he can't use his hands. We have the lady who works at the communications office who is using her telegram constantly. And then this last guy, a Russian tourist who... I don't know. Does anybody recognize this guy?
Isn't that the motherfucker from the newspaper?
It's the motherfucker from the newspaper.
Isn't he like
a Russian extremist or whatever they call him?
Yeah.
Revolutionary. Russian revolutionary.
So he's just here, huh?
Yeah, he's just here. And as we can see, this really does show how good they are at screening their juries, right?
I kind of love... I think someone theorized that, like, yeah, they just, as soon as a court case happens, they pull the nearest guy into
I love
the
how
courthouse.
He's like, objectively not even a citizen.
Yeah. He's really not.
He's literally got a dictionary on stand.
They should really, he doesn't know English. He's not very well at English, let's be clear.
He's doing his best. He really
has
is.
a translation book, which is nice. He has a mouse.
Yeah.
And he's very serious about being a juror.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he does
takes it very seriously, like way more than other people have.
Some might say that he's extreme about it.
He's going to revolutionize being a juror.
So I know we recognize the Russian guy. Do we recognize the stereoscope guy?
I don't think
think-
so.
I think
No,
that's
this
a
is a
new
new
little
guy.
freak.
Yeah, he's just a
this is a new
guy.
Didn't he look like the dandy in like the first like European case we had? We had like a
He's another blonde British guy, but no, to be clear,
Not
he
the
is
hat,
definitely a
not the
different
guy with the weird hat.
No, he's not the guy with the
Mhm.
weird hat. There's like a guy in the jury of that case where with Magnus McGill did,
hmm
where like I felt that there was someone similar to Stereoscope guy,
Mhm.
but I don't know, man. If not, whatever.
He is
Yo-
he is different. I know who you're thinking of, but he is a different guy.
He is a different guy. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
The Skulkin brothers, I think they're awesome witnesses, and very funny that their bit is just keep trying to include
Whoever's
fucking
nearby.
Greg's. Yeah.
Honestly, I was complaining about Gregson last time because I was getting sick of his weird little act.
Yep.
But them like goofing around with him made me a little more charitable towards him, and then less charitable towards him later.
Right. Well, I
And I'm
think
back to not caring for him again. But
he's got an arc at least, and I think it's good to have him be like we get to include him in some jokes here early on, and then later as he becomes more antagonistic to us explicitly, like I don't know, I think it's very fun because I like an antagonistic detective sometimes,
Yeah.
because and especially here in that he's being pulled all these different ways. In a way, he is quote unquote just trying to do his job, but he is being very shitty about it. And eventually we realize that he's also willing to let a poor girl go to the gallows over this to keep, national secrets safe.
boo.
Yeah, the subplot that there is a secret transmission being released out into the wild does come up. And Greg says it's all in the hush hush, you can't know about it. And we keep being like, clearly it's fucking related to this case, dipshit. If you solve this case, you can find out who did it. You fucking... Okay. Eggert. That motherfucker.
Egbert.
Egbert.
I don't know.
You can't say Egbert, because if you do, that makes you think of the other thing, and I can't deal with that.
Oh,
Sure.
well. Fair enough.
Yeah,
I'll stop
You
saying
can call him his
Ashley.
real name if you'd like. You can
We'll
call
start
him
calling him
Graydon.
Ashley or whatever.
What's his
Yeah.
real name? I actually genuinely forgot. It's actually Graham, right?
Ashley.
Ashley Graydon.
That's why we keep saying Ashley.
Ashley Graydon. Is that not his name?
Ashley.
Ashley. Yeah, okay. Ash. Graydon.
Now I'm getting
Mr. Graydon.
confused.
Ash Gray,
Mr.
yeah.
Graydon. Here's something that got me kind of tight. Mr. Graydon. I don't know if we got into that part of the summary.
Yeah,
yet,
that's the thing.
but-
I haven't summarized that.
I was gonna
Okay,
say this is
cool.
where we stopped.
Okay, then I will continue with my other bit then, that I have feelings I don't know how to handle.
Okay.
I don't hate Herlock Sholmes the most anymore.
Oh.
I hate Van Zeeks the most now, because he is overtly racist in court.
He came
Yeah.
out and he was like, I am actually here because I hate Japanese people and you specifically. And the judge is like, whoa, buddy.
Hey, whoa.
And then doesn't dismiss him for mistrial. But
Racism not enough to be dismissed.
like everyone else has been sort of generalizedly racist, as we've been mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is the first time he's come out and been like, I specifically hate you because you are Japanese. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
man. I guess you said it in court. It's on the books now.
And he
So,
says this bit where he only alludes to it at the start here, but later he clarifies it in a later conversation at the very end. But he basically says, I was betrayed once by a Japanese man. Yeah.
I'm gonna need more.
and that is part of the reason why I hate Japanese people. And it's like, Okay.
It better have been
And?
real fucking bad, dude. And even
I-
then,
Yeah, that dude must have old boyed you. Otherwise,
yeah,
I can't imagine.
yeah, it has to be that level of bad.
Like it has to be something where your life is fucked up for like 15 years. I can't imagine why you're being racist towards a Japanese lawyer who dead ass showed up not even less than 6 months ago.
It just got here.
Sir, I don't know where
Yeah.
I am. This place
What-
is pretty scary.
I wait awaiting his excuse, and it better be good. And I'm still not gonna accept it probably, but like, it better be he must have old boyed him. That's gotta be it.
He's gotta be an old boy. That's the only solution at this point. So like the thing is though is that like because of my new hatred for Van Zeeks, I'm now warm on Herlock Sholmes. Like
That's fucked up, man.
That's
I
an
don't
interesting.
feel the vitriol I did for Herlock that I did.
Maybe living
Before.
with him for a while helped us a little bit, you know?
Immersion therapy.
Oh, do you think he has that parasites that cats give out that make us like him?
Toxoplasmosis.
Yeah, do you think he has
You
that?
mean being cute little guys?
Yeah. No, the toxoplasmosis. You know, the little he's got Herlock Sholmes germs in all of us.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And now we tolerate him. Something important to note: Iris is our assistant.
Yep.
She's now officially entered the assistant.
And she's pretty good at it.
compendium. She is by far the best. I mean, she's one of the smartest assistants. She doesn't have legal know-how like Susato does.
She's
but
like
just got, raw
she's like a
intelligence.
she's like a what am I trying to say?
Smart.
She's book smart, very book smart.
Yeah.
But so is Susato because Susato literally got it from a book. You know?
Yeah, but she's
She
got like
doesn't let me spray the luminol, but we
Fucked.
do spray the luminol.
Honestly, kind of fucked. I really wish I could spray some shit. This
And-
case had a lot of like,
Oh, you know what
we
this
got some
case
new
had
evidence. We
none
should look
of?
at it. What?
Hound of the Baskervilles? Absolutely nothing.
I have
It was just about the manuscript. The manuscript was called Hound of the Baskervilles, but we didn't get to read it. We didn't get to see what
My
was in it.
eyes were peeled for name drops or slight references to it,
Wait,
and
did
nothing
we ever?
caught my attention.
Did we ever even like pull it out as part of evidence?
No.
I think
Nope.
the only time we ever pulled it out of evidence is when we were talking to Gina and being like, "This is why you care about Iris. It's because you tried to steal
It
this."
stays in
didn't
the
you?
box.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Remember,
Stays-
Iris leaves it in the box in
I'm-
Windibanks.
I'm not 100% sure of like. I think Gina can read at least a little bit, but I don't think she can do it well.
Yeah, she talked about that. She was like, "I can do a little bit, but we get the book is real, and
We do see it.
Gina talks about like the true events of that night and brings up the fact that she did see it there, so she knows
Yep.
it exists. But like,
And again, don't
It
forget
isn't-
that we saw it as well briefly when Susato and Iris looked at it during the investigation. During
exactly,
the investigation phase. So we
It
know
just
it's real, we
stays
know
in
it
our
exists, but
evidence.
just nobody gets to read it.
This is gonna be wild when the next game comes out, and that thing is still gonna be in our fucking evidence, and people are gonna be like, "I didn't play the first one. What the fuck is this?"
Well, they would never let us get away with that. It's gonna be a completely new game. We're gonna change
There's no-
everything.
There's no way we're gonna have the Shu Takumi like we gotta play the next game without any previous context of the previous game, because this game leaves on a note that requires addressing. I would actually be fucking insane if they did not address the fact that there was secret communication. Whatever.
Mhm.
That's the fear building up.
That's the fear building up in me. Like an actual meter
I'm just saying
appears above my head, like a
You're
fucking
trying to
Dark
like
Souls.
you're trying to talk yourself out of it, like trying to logically explain your way out of it, but it's like you're getting more and more nervous.
I'm just saying this has been goofed before. Not quite with the stakes this high, I will admit. But like,
Yeah.
oof.
Yeah.
When we have to do the summation examination with the jury members, So, first of all, Gyarados here, and he's really horny for maids, and I'm like, bro, like, I get it, but, like, can you fucking keep it together? He keeps, like, peeking over at his next, jury member, who is the hot maid, and I'm just like, bro, there's a life on the line here, man. Can you fucking
Also, you're
wake up
married. You should be loving your wife.
His wife is in
Perhaps
prison.
Perhaps the reason your wife suspected you of cheating was perhaps because of she had some evidence, sir.
Your inability to keep it in your pants.
I wanna take that sentence back from the top, but I don't think it's worth it. I just replayed that in my head, and I thought, man, I'm tired.
I'm a firm believer of, like, you know, attraction does not equal cheating. Like, thoughts and actions are two different things. However,
I don't trust this guy.
This fucking guy, like, I'm trying to save a teenage life, and this fucking guy can't keep together. The maid is she's 2-dimensional. I don't care for her. Whatever. Now let's talk about the 3-dimensional guy, the stereoscope guy.
Yeah.
This motherfucker, I can't. Stereoscope is a toy. This is a toy you're playing with, and he's like, this is the way of the future. And jury member 5 is like, it's a toy, and I'm like, I'm on her side. She's doing Morse code and shit. That's kind of actually relevant to, like, cool shit like Balto. But, like... but, like...
Among other things, but yeah, that's up there.
Dude, Balto's the most important application of Morse code.
Get your kids vaccinated.
We're doing the summation that...
Yep, get your vaccines updated. Yep.
Holy shit, get your vaccines updated. He gets us to use stereoscope to realize that 2 photos are slightly different because something in the background, like, pops out at us. And I'm like, dude, what if my eyes just hurt that day? I wouldn't be able to do this. I
was able to do it. I'm actually really good at this, and you know that magic eye shit?
Mm-hmm.
This is my, like, secret talent. Like, I'm fucking amazing at those magic eye things. Doing this is peanuts for me. I am the best. I don't need a 3DS.
Rose, earlier today we got ice cream and your eyes hurt because we were in the sun too long.
Yeah, that's because they're specialized. They're specialized.
Shaking your hand. Rose and I once again sitting in the same wagon.
Yes, I will accept that testimony into the court record. But I did hurt my eyes that I was sad because I sat in the sun.
I saw you. Like,
you saw me looking like a sad, squinty little creature. But I'm really good at magic eye games, which you don't usually do out in the sun, shining directly into your eyes. You do them in, like, some weird book in your grandparents' basement while you're waiting for Christmas to start.
Can I be honest? I was always really bad at those magic eye things, so I'm a little jealous.
You can practice.
I can practice. Can you teach me?
Yeah, you're just gonna get really good at crossing your eyes the right way.
I do cross my eyes. I know how to.
There's a way to do it. You have to have more. You have to control it better.
Well, the trick is you gotta cross them and then you gotta let it go a little bit.
You have to, like, cross them, but then try to focus. Yeah.
You gotta relax.
You gotta relax after they're crossed.
Yeah. I gotta cultivate my fucking eyes underneath the waterfall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We can have a training montage later.
Yeah, comes in with, like, a little bandolier full of eye drops.
Yeah.
I'm about to learn how to do so. I'm gonna be the sickest magic eye guy.
Yeah.
My favorite jury member is, of course, the extremist, because I can't believe he's fucking here. Like, I feel like I'm pogging looking at him. Like,
it's
oh my god,
such a great little follow up.
I'm like a completely inconsequential bit. Like,
hey, it's that guy.
It's the guy.
And and this is it too, right? It's not like there's, like, you know, he's an increasingly, like, crucial part. Like, the Russians don't come back into it or anything as part of the story. You know, no, it's just it's a joke, it's a gag. He shows up once, and he does get to give a little help later with the whole bullet thing where he's like, oh yeah, one time I thought I got shot, but I didn't. I actually got hit by ice shrapnel. And it melted, so when they opened me up to do surgery, they didn't find a bullet inside because it was just ice and it melted. And they're like, oh, maybe I should apply the same principle to where this bullet went. And then they're like, what if Sherlock didn't get hit by a bullet? What if he got hit by glass shrapnel? The doctor's like, damn, that might make sense.
Where'd the glass shrapnel come from?
He's doing his best to be like a good witness.
He's like,
and he doesn't even speak that much English.
You said, where did the glass shrapnel come from?
No,
You were saying it. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Also, do you remember number 4 just got out of surgery?
Yeah, this is his bit as well. He keeps going, did I leave it inside? No, I don't think I could. But where could it have gone? And finally, Ryunosuke slams the desk during the examination, and he's like, juror number 4, could you get your head in the game? And juror number 4's like, fuck you. No, I might have left a bullet inside of a man, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And he's like, wait a minute, were you the guy who did surgery on Sholmes? And he's like, why, yes, I think that was the fella's name.
I can't believe he's here right after the surgery.
It's
like,
so
didn't even
funny.
take his gloves off, put new gloves on, and like sterilely, and then came to court.
I
Hasn't
can't
touched a
believe
damn thing with his hands.
I can't believe that like he was at this like event and also the previous event like a month ago or two.
Assuming they're the same person.
This guy keeps getting wrapped up in shit while looking like a fucking Popeyes character.
In case 3, he was out of his outfit, his normal outfit. He's just, going around in his green coat kind of thing. Now here he's in his doctor's outfit. It's like the Dr. Mario, regular Mario type thing going on here.
I'm glad that he is probably somewhat better than Dr. Hottie in some way.
Yeah, every way.
Yeah,
literally every conceivable way.
I am a little afraid of him leaving medical supplies in me, but that's like
you know what, for Victorian England, that he's doing fine.
Have you guys ever watched Ripley's Believe It or Not?
Uh-huh.
I didn't have a lot of TV.
Okay.
I remember the books though.
There was a situation where one time a lady got like a surgery, and they left the medical scissors in there for 27 years, and it caused her extreme pain, and no surgeon would believe her until like they went back in there and went, "Oh shit, my bad. These are my scissors." I'm just imagining
stuff gets left inside people quite often.
I'm just imagining like, God, that would suck.
Yeah.
And what if it was because of this fucking guy?
What if it's because of Muppet?
The moral of the story is believe women.
That is true. Believe women.
Something doctors are historically bad at. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Ringo
We got a lot
and
to
Nash
cover.
are apple and pear boys.
Oh, the Ringo. What's Nash? What Ringo is like
he's
the
a
Japanese
pear.
word for apple, right?
Yes, correct. Yep. Ringo's the Japanese word for apple. And
What's Nash?
Nash is likely, according to the wiki here that I'm going off of for a real quick pull, is likely probably a play on nashi, which is the Japanese word for pear.
That sounds extremely likely.
That sounds
and obviously
so
skulking
correct.
is because they're skulking around,
I do love generic mooks, and these absolutely seem like your type of character, Ben, who I can only describe as like Twin Peaks one-off characters.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, these guys would you could absolutely have these guys transplanted into just one episode of Twin Peaks, and they would work all right.
they can never show up again.
Yeah. Apparently, apples and pears also means stairs in Cockney slang, apparently.
It's weirdly enough, I do know about this.
Yeah, Cockney rhyming slang. Apparently, apples and pears is a term for stairs. So they're playing on a couple different things, I think. Here
Wait,
with
in what slang?
Cockney.
Which is what, like English slang? Like England
Yeah.
English?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's a
like
dialect of English.
so sometimes
English.
people would say,
English? What the fuck?
some people would be like, "I'm going up the apples," to be like, "I'm going up the stairs," you know.
I have. That's yeah.
So,
That's
like,
an incomprehensible thing to me.
weirdly enough, I knew about that through Tumblr. I think Tumblr told me that once. I was like, did you guys know that apple and pears mean stairs? And I went, whoa! And then I read a call-out post for Homestuck, which is what you do on Tumblr.
Yeah, that's a typical Tumblr user
That seems
experience.
about right, yeah.
Like,
Oh,
I
Thank
learned
God
something
I didn't do
fun.
that.
Oh, some senseless drivel. Oh, Homestuck.
The senseless drivel has come once again. I like Nash the most, if I had to choose a favorite one.
I
Their
don't have to
animations
choose.
Well,
are
Nash
just,
does get to talk way more.
Well,
So-
I feel like Ringo talks a lot more in the testimony.
They
Depends.
get,
I
I
feel
think
like-
they're pretty even all said, but
I feel like Nash
they get-
definitely feels like it gets more, but maybe
Yeah,
that
I
I'm
never
just
mind.
thinking
I
more
like
like the
least
second
popular
half.
one. Then I like Ringo.
Whoa. They
Nash
go
also
together.
gets
They go
accosted
together.
later, so
Yeah, they're
you
peas
know.
in a pod.
But
No, they're
yeah,
fruits in a basket.
They're fruits in a basket.
but yeah, they do these animations where they like flash the backs of their jackets at the court, and they try to get Gregson to do it with them. They have their secret
And then they
handshake
lo-
that I love.
They do puppy dog eyes at him because he won't.
Yeah,
And he gets mad.
What's
Yep.
crazy is that they keep referring to him as the third brother, and I'm like,
Big Bruv
Huh?
Skulky.
Big Bev Skulky, what's going on? I'm confused, big brother. And they're all like, shut the fuck up.
I was wondering if Mr.
You thought he-
Benedict was going to turn out to be
The third
Oh.
brother.
the third brother for a little bit there, but he was just an unrelated scoundrel.
I
mean,
think
later
he
we
is
do find out
technically
he
the
was-
third brother.
Yeah, he's kind of an honorary third brother, right? Later, because eventually we find out that
They
yes,
used to work
Nash and
together.
Ringo and Ashley all worked together as part of their milk business. Milverton Milk Run business.
I low key think that Nash and Ringo aren't even real brothers. I think they just called each other brother. You know what I mean?
They just did it for the bit.
No, I think that they treat each other like they might as well be brothers, but like
Sure.
I like the idea that they meet somebody and go, we fucking love you. You're our brother now. we're putting this. We're changing your legal name,
Yeah.
Big Brev Skulky.
Uh, but yeah.
Gregson is really good play off of the two Skulkin brothers. It's very funny. The funniest bit is like when you find out the Skulkin brothers are the one who shot Herlock. Thank you, Skulkin brothers. And
They did
They
it
go-
for you.
they were just straight up like, I'm really scared, and Iris goes, don't have a gun. And he was like, I don't know, I was really confused. Like, then don't have a gun. Very funny.
Yeah.
I'm opening up my water bottle. I need a sip.
Yep. So yeah, I think these guys are great. And pretty much any testimony with them is just a lot of fun dialogue wise because they're constantly using lots of slang and
Yeah, they write
trying to
it
get-
like they write it in the accent, like they write out the accent, and
Right.
I have to like stop and like translate it manually in my head.
I kind of wish
Much
I knew
like
Cockney.
Gina.
They should have a
Yeah.
Duolingo for that.
and and yes, getting Gregson involved is a lot of fun.
Gregson's fucking carb intake must be insane at this point.
His
I like-
cholesterol has got to be terrible.
Dude, the surgeon in the jury is gonna have to do something about it in the middle of this fucking court. So they're like, we're gonna cut him open. And then the other two will be like, no, not Big Breath Skulky.
Yeah.
I wish I had their jacket. Are they supposed... Obviously, they're very Mario and Luigi coded to me, right? Like, they are supposed to be like Mario and Luigi.
I mean, I don't see how it can't have informed them at least a little bit. Like, there's nothing in them, like, they're in their, like, names or anything else, like, their lore that in any way relates to Mario, aside from the fact that, obviously, Nash is tall, thin, and green, and Ringo is short, round, and red, you know
what?
much like Mario and Luigi. So it's...
It could also be the tomato and pickle from VeggieTales.
Hang on, let me dig
Bob
deep
and
in
Larry?
my... Bob and Larry, yeah.
I know Larry the Cucumber. I didn't have Bob. That was the issue.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, listen, the tall and thin one and the short and rounder one, are constants in character design and just comedy as a whole, right?
Yeah, that's what they did Cain and Abel with.
Yep, that was the start of it all. Cain and Abel.
Abel was the short, funny one.
Yeah, he was jealous of his. Yeah, Cain was jealous of his short, funny brother.
Short, funny brother. He came up with his own
Short
prank.
king. Oh, short king hate.
Yeah. Yep. So, and that's why they shot Sherlock Holmes, as well. So
Because he was tall.
Yeah, I mean,
because he could have been Big Brev Hurley, and we couldn't let that happen.
That's true.
I hope the Skulkin brothers, no matter what they do, get out of this one scot-free.
Oh no, they're definitely going to jail.
I know.
we see them in the credits behind bars. I'm sorry to inform you.
Yeah, but they can get out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, they could get out eventually. Probably not Ashley, but yeah.
I believe people in jail should sometimes be allowed out to appreciate what they had, and then they have to go back in.
What? So
and then really suffer.
Did your prison abolition ideals evaporate upon playing this game?
Here's the thing. I do think Ashley should be killed.
I think Ashley's kind of metal.
No, let me be perfectly clear. I think he's an interesting character, for sure. But he's directly contrary to what I want in the game as a protagonist. And therefore I want him dead. In the same way that I want Van Zieks dead. And Sherlock Holmes. The thing about it though is that at a certain point, there is the I'm participating in this thing as a video game player, and then there's I'm participating of this thing through the protagonist's eyes. And as a video game player, I want these people shot to death. And as a protagonist, I'm
patience.
I don't know, maybe they should, let's think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it sounds like I should get into the second half of the summary then, so we can start to talk about some of these latter segments with Ashley and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So, back in court, the mysterious man in white is summoned, named Ashley Graydon. He admits to being at the pawnbrokery earlier in the day, but denies everything else alleged. Ryunosuke gets into the disc encounter and shows the bloody fingerprint that Ashley left on it. He also identifies the box that McGilded deposited the music box that McGilded deposited that the disc would play on. This is thanks to another stereoscopic image. However, now that the McGilded disc connection has come up, Ryu wonders if it's wise to have Gina confess to the perjury from Case 3 and also admit that he exonerated a guilty man. He decides to bring everything to light in hopes that it will solve this case, and Van Zieks remarks that he admires Ryunosuke for his bravery in this specific matter. As such, all details we discussed in the past episodes comes to light, shocking the court. However, during this grand reveal, Ryunosuke notices that Graydon and Gregson are whispering to each other. That'll be important soon. Ryunosuke, Van Zieks, and the court all want to hear the disc played, but Gregson is freaking the fuck out and begs them not to. They do it anyway, but it appears to only be random dings. But Ryunosuke and juror number 5 theorize that these dings could actually be Morse code. Graydon counters that, Morse code needs 2 signals, and this disc only has 1. So, Ryo picks up the music box, tips it over, and finds a second player on the other side. Aha! But then what about the second disc? Graydon gloats that a bit, saying that this train of thought has ended in a dead end, but the Skulkin brothers and their big mouths thankfully give us another clue. Graydon is actually thrice-fired Mason's son, giving us a direct link to the events of the McGilded case. Upset by this reveal, Graydon moves too much, causing the wound on his arm to reopen, blood soaking his left upper arm, where Windibank's bullet pierced him. Graydon then tries to testify that the moment he saw the crime through the small peephole on the vault door, he then witnessed Gina shoot Windibank. While this is happening, Gregson shakes down Nash Skulkin, nearly attacking him in the courtroom. After all that's calmed down, a bailiff arrives with the blood tests, proving that blood was on the coat Gina was wearing. All the jury vote guilty once again, but the bailiff chuckles ominously at this, and reveals himself to be none other than Sholmes in disguise. He presents the cat Flapomat to Ryu, saying that Susato wished for him to have it, but she believes that she should be disqualified as a legal assistant due to this. Unsure what to make of this statement, but needing to press on, Ryunosuke then realizes what actually must have happened. Susato used the cat Flapomat to peek into the door the night of the crime. Due to her modifying the crime scene post-shooting, this actually means that the peephole didn't exist when Graydon was there, proving his testimony is a complete lie. Sholmes' photos back this up as well. Van Ziek says, well, sure, but how did Graydon then know of the peephole? If it only existed after he had left. Gregson immediately asks if he can leave, which is very suspicious. Ryunosuke that Gregson and Graydon, when whispering earlier, were actually making a deal. He calls it out in the court and accuses Gregson of revealing the presence of the peephole in exchange for the second disc. Gregson denies everything and even accepts being body searched in the court to prove that he didn't trade this info for the disc. Ryunosuke avoids falling into the trap and instead asks the court to search Nash, and there it is in his coat pocket. Earlier, when Gregson attacked Nash, he was actually hiding the disc on him, shoving it into his coat pocket. So, Graydon has to be Windibank's murderer, and he breaks down, attempting to strangle Gregson on the stand. After being separated, Graydon solemnly explains his sad backstory, why he used the discs, and his dad, and how McGill had paid him handsomely for various government secrets. Gina is declared innocent, and after the trial, Ryunosuke and Van Zieks have a brief chat in which Van Zieks reveals that he has a secret backstory in which a Japanese man betrayed him many years ago. Perhaps one day Ryunosuke will learn it. In the lobby, Iris reveals that Susato's ship was delayed by weather, so they all rush to see her off. Ryunosuke and the crew arrive just in time, seeing Susato about to throw her law book into the ocean. The two have a tearful reunion as Ryunosuke insists that everything Susato did helped the case and that she was indeed the greatest legal assistant in the world. She promises to return, and just before she leaves, Iris translates the Japanese Morse code on the discs. It reads, K. Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, and J. Wilson. That's all four. Susato and Ryu recognize Asogi's name, and Iris wonders why her dad's name is on there with Gregson's. Perhaps they will all figure out this mystery together. Next time in Great Ace Attorney 2.
Great Ace Attorney 2.
So now you all understand why, briefly, we talked a little bit about cliffhangers last time and said we should push this discussion to another time. Because, yes, there is a big cliffhanger here with the contents of the disc.
Cliffhanger.
My dog got so upset she was woofing. Like in the middle of your summary.
I have some thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us your thoughts.
All right. First of all, I love Ashley Graydon. He's a really good villain. He's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He JoJo poses.
True.
He takes every opportunity to mock you whenever he thinks he has the upper hand. His breakdown is weirdly not his. He's just attacking Gregson.
Right.
His motivations are interesting. He wanted money, and then he wanted to kill Magnus McGilded. Spoiler alert, he fucking did. He's the one who lit that motherfucker on fire using money.
Yep.
Here's my thing. And I was kind of mad about this during the case.
Okay.
Is that we spend a lot of the case going, well, what motivation would I have to kill the store owner? And we're all just like, you tried to steal the disc from the pawnbroker, and you tried to rob a child. And he spends a long time denying this until he eventually admits that he did do that shit. And I'm like, okay. And then he simply says, all right, so what's my motivation for killing the shopkeeper? And I'm like, the other disc that you're trying to find. And he goes, I don't see how that's relevant. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean that's not relevant? What? We just spent an hour proving to everybody here that you were in fact in that fucking thing this morning, trying to steal something that wasn't yours. Because this ticket belonged to Magnus McGilded. if it belonged to Magnus McGilded, it could not have belonged to you. And then he goes, I don't know, that I didn't do that. I'm like, I'm gonna
Can't prove it.
This guy, he's committed. He doesn't have a breakdown until it is beyond his only remaining option. Like, it takes a while. He sticks to his guns. He's a professional.
Yeah, he really is. Because we get him in quite a few lies. And then, yes, even after all admitting to stealing the disc and all this stuff, he still then goes, well, even though I was there and I did steal the disc, I didn't kill Windibank. I witnessed the killing happen, though, through the tiny people. And you're
Despite
like,
the fact that
we've
proven like 16 times that he's unreliable, we let him keep talking.
And there is a bit where the judge even goes like, well, of course you deny all allegations. Yes, of course you do. Sure. Like, even the judge is kind of a little tired of it at one point.
What, like, gets me is the fact that, like, Van Zeeks is also like, yeah, but how's that relevant to the murder? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're telling me the guy who's there this morning and then lied about being there but currently is not related to the murder at all. The guy who has done active crime and that the detective knows about pulled a gun on us? Like, what?
Yeah.
I just feel like there was particularly a lot of damning evidence against this guy. And admittedly, it's a lot of it is circumstantial, yes. But if it was not for the combined effort of Ashley Graydon and Van Zeeks, I feel like I would have been able to put this guy away. It's the fact that my prosecutor against me is Uraisisto and is trying to fucking prevent me.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have a good reason to be, like, I mean, yeah, he has a reason, and it's just because he's racist and he wants to be contrary against you. But it's like, come on, man, it kind of feels like you have no horse in this race. Like,
there's like a point where, like,
go home, touch grass.
He does want to find out whatever Gregson was doing, though. Anytime anything disc-related comes up, he's like, yeah, who cares about what you... Yeah, who cares what you say, Gregson? Actually, we want the disc on the record here.
I was hoping he was more in it because he was trying to get into whatever Magnus McGilded was up to. Because I think that's what he was doing in the first case we meet him.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he gets completely sidetracked by being more racist.
It's difficult because I feel like
it's like lucky here, right? He came up against us, but he also got lucky that, oh, well, I got some of the disc stuff that I was also kind of interested showing up here. All right, well, sure. All right, I'll poke around with this. All right.
He talks about how, like, there are two types of crimes that he hates, right? Like, one where the rich and powerful get away without, like, fucking no consequences. Magnus McGilded.
Most major crimes.
Yeah, most major crimes. And then
he do be killing them if they get away, though.
He also doesn't like, thieves and those of poor ilk doing crimes. And I'm like, dude, just say you hate poor people and other races. Just fucking say it, man.
And he does.
And he flat out does. A lot of this case, they're like, how can we trust a gutter rat like her? And that's my impression.
Good job.
Wow.
And it's like, bro, half of y'all have done worse shit than this pickpocket. You, Gyarados, have claimed human lives in the name of the queen. And then you're a dirty lecher. How dare you? Fucking, you think the queen would be proud to see you lusting?
Mm-hmm.
She would probably hate it.
She would probably hate it. And meanwhile, the extremist guy over there should probably be like,
queen
on
just
our
get her
side.
opinion
Crabby
on
she
this,
is.
you know.
Yeah, I just got kind of mad about the fact that, like, I feel like if this was not a prosecutor who was actively against me, I could have wrapped this case up sooner. Especially with the, I kind of noticed the people thing when we were doing the stereoscope. I was like, oh yeah, that door hole doesn't exist until later, huh? And then I flashed back to the previous episode where I said to myself, Man, that cat door thing's really going to come into play. They really brought up a long time talking about that cat door thing.
It actually was so long I had almost forgotten about it. Because we were very much like, the cat door will be back. The cat door will be back.
Yep.
Oh, somebody's
everything,
barking.
Despite everything, the cat door returned. The cat door thing.
And yes, yeah, you both predicted that it would be important, and it was. It was very important.
I think they did a good job with making the cat door seem important, and then immediately, not immediately, but they just put it on the back burner for so long that you forget about it. It's one of those things where you can actually have a genuine oh yeah about moment.
I didn't forget about it. I knew the entire time. I'm so smart.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's
very,
right.
very smart.
It's
okay, I take back everything I just said.
Okay.
I do think
thanks.
the funniest thing though is that Susato's explanation for why she had it is that she pickpocketed it from Iris and then forgot it was up her sleeve.
We all forgot about it.
This huge, massive cat door maker was up her kimono, up her dress.
She
the whole time.
pickpocketed it because she was what's her name? Jeannie was teaching them how to pickpocket, and she pickpocketed that cat flap.
She
so
pickpocketed
mad.
so good she didn't even remember it.
And she forgot about it.
And then then she used it after the crime happened so that she could look in and see what happened behind the door before it could get unlocked. And that then also, that modification of the crime scene basically created our opportunity to prove that Graydon lied, right? Later.
Mm-hmm.
But
Graydon lied a lot.
She sees this as a betrayal of her
Yeah, it wasn't
values.
It wasn't that bad of crime scene tampering.
Right. She sees I'm the worst legal assistant in the world. I don't deserve to be she says this the night before she leaves, right, to Ryunosuke from last episode, she's like, I don't deserve to be a legal assistant anymore. And it's okay, yes, did you tamper with a crime scene? Yeah, you did. But it wasn't that bad, Susato, actually.
I'm sure I've done worse crime scene tampering by accident.
Compared to everything that we see in Ace Attorney games as far as crime scene tampering goes, this is pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, this kind of is the hinge on which the rest of her behind the scenes arc, her appearing to Sholmes late at night and being here, I'm going to give you this important item that you have to take to Ryunosuke later, and all that. So
it's just kind of crazy because Susato, I understand that she even goes to talk about how I concealed the information that I used the Flap-O-Matic because I figured it would be a good trap to use in case the killer tries to sneak their way out of getting caught by using information from the police.
And she can't tell Ryunosuke about it either because if she does, then he becomes complicit in it, right?
Yes, exactly.
So she has to wait until later, which I think is a good explanation for why we get to have it as one of those late deploy, Ace Attorney.
She shut the fuck
evidence
up. She
deliveries,
shut the fuck up
right?
Friday.
It is a pretty good reasoning for why we have to have Sholmes show up later with it so he can go, okay, good. You didn't know. You Ryunosuke, you really didn't know. You couldn't have used this information, legally in court. So here you go.
Also, bad news. Totally forgot. Sherlock Holmes does show up next to us in the courtroom, which means he is added to the sidekick compendium.
Very briefly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that puts him right in the compendium, despite how brief. You know what I mean? He's just in there.
What did you think of his goofy costume change into the bailiff?
It got me. I really didn't think it was him. I was like, why the fuck is this dude talking to me? And then his hair changed color from one sprite to another, and I went, oh, okay, well, I guess he's here, man.
You sure? Now that is from the books.
Yeah,
he's really good at disguising himself.
I do know he's a fan of disguises from the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think good.
The movie was good.
I haven't been vindicated in my theory that Sherlock Holmes is in fact a criminal impersonating the great detective Sherlock Holmes. However, I still haven't been disproven either.
Mike, I'm putting my hand on your shoulder. I think that motherfucker is Sherlock Holmes.
Listen, I've got to have a silly crackpot theory.
Okay,
Oh,
that's fair as shit, yo. I'm not gonna stop you from that.
I have a whole dog standing, all four paws on my lap.
Ouch.
Okay, well, fucking
Rocky
pick her
really
up and
wants
move.
to be
Suffer.
part of it. She
Uh,
really wants to be on the show.
She wants.
The-
This is the most she's wanted to be on the show in a long time.
Welcome, Roxy. She's
What
a
do you have to
newcomer.
say for yourself? Absolutely nothing.
Yep. Stares blankly at
Shut the
the
fuck
screen.
up, Friday.
You know all about Shut the Fuck Up Friday, don't you?
How do we all feel about Gregson?
I don't care for him.
I kind of hate him
alright.
now. I kind of want him dead. I kind of want him dead. He
You want to kill every NPC.
just the ones who slight me.
Sure.
Everyone.
Here's the thing about Gregson. His motivation is to do his secret mission. He does not care about the outcome of this case. He's even
That is
going.
those are his orders.
Those are his orders, but like, I get that like he's not necessarily being antagonistic because he wants to be. He's being antagonistic because he's simply trying to complete his objective, and in completing his objective, it causes us to not complete our objective. So like,
Well, our objective, though, is saving the life of an innocent teenage girl.
That's true.
And
Whereas
his is perpetuating the delightful war crimes machine that is Great Britain.
yeah, his is for queen and for country.
Yeah.
So he does give information to our guy Egbert, and we catch him on this because we're like, "Hey, man, so like, you know that people that he says that you saw shit through?" And they go, "Yeah." I was like, "It wasn't there. So how the fuck did you see that shit, huh? How the fuck did you see shit you couldn't have seen? What wonderful sights else have you seen, motherfucker? We got you by the fucking neck." And then Gregson says, can I go though? This ain't got nothing to do with me."
Yeah.
I think it's very funny that we were willing to put the secrets on blast during the fucking court case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's raw as hell.
Cause like, we're like, all right, Gregson, you don't want to fucking talk? Let's listen. Let's play some fucking music. I hope you like track 2, motherfucker.
You're all about to be traitors to the whole country.
I will
Everyone
say,
here
I
is gonna
really
find
like-
out this shit.
Yeah, I really like that. This is going back ever so slightly, but like when we see Ashley and Gregson whispering to each other,
Mhm.
it is during Gina's testimony, right? When she's explaining everything, and it is just all you have. Like you do not like get necessarily like prompted by the game aside from after you go through all of her testimony. Like Ryunosuke and Iris are kind of like when they do their little talking bit after you've done every single piece of dialogue from Gina's testimony. They kind of go, "Hey, what's going on over there off to the side? What are Ashley and Gregson talking about?" But you can also just stumble onto it yourself if you decide to
Look at them.
pursue at any point during Gina's testimony. You can just slide the camera to the right
And
and
they're
see
just
the two.
they're just
they're
out
just
there
whispering away.
roughhousing.
Yeah, they're just whispering
they're
away off to
whispering.
the side,
Their backs are to the camera,
which is
and
great.
everything.
And then you can just be like, "Excuse me,
Hey.
hey."
Oh,
you
sorry,
too."
am I boring you, gentlemen?
Yeah, which I think is just a really great way to use that mechanic in a non-explicit way, like without having the little icon popping up and being like, "Hey, pursue these people," because they're thinking about something else. You know, we have to like actually
They're
just
scheming.
pay attention to the animation that's playing over there, and it helps because they have a unique animation for it and everything, which is really fun.
It's
But
also
yes,
kind of
then-
sick that like that part of the story, like the story of the case, is still unfolding even in the court, right? Like
Exactly.
fucking what those motherfucker did while we were talking is relevant, you know?
Yes. I think it's a really nice way to, even though it is a long courtroom segment, you know, rather than going back and forth and doing investigation court, kind of like the typical pacing, here we have a really long investigation, really long court, but we still get new developments, actual changes to the like substance of the case happening right there in court because Gregson's sharing secrets and doing deals right on the goddamn witness stand.
Yep.
You know, which is, I think, is really a really entertaining way to kind of keep the energy up and you know, change the playing field while you're still in court.
It's also really
right?
funny that the judge just lets it happen too. He's just like, no, I'm not even paying attention to them right now.
He's like, could you please shut up? Stop muttering off to the side. Anyway.
Ryunosuke's like, excuse me, there's something you'd like to talk about. The judge just shuts up. Doesn't say a damn thing. You have to reprimand them. Like, you're in charge. The only adult in this fucking courtroom.
I do appreciate the
do feel
judge
like
being
that.
level-headed and like kind of on our side, but also is willing to call us on our bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like this judge. He's like a lot less loony.
Mhm.
But,
I do wish
like-
he was kind of loony.
He's so cute.
He's
There's
still
an
a little,
animation
but-
where he crosses his eyes,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
Like, and every time his wig falls off because he's surprised, I'm like, oh.
He goes like by
Um,
Jove and shit like that.
Yeah, I think he's really cute. And yeah, I think he should dismiss Van Zeek's for the everything.
Yeah.
But like also, at least he goes, damn, that's fucked up that you're just here to be racist. Like,
Literally-
and then he's
literally-
like, we still doing it though. I'm like, Jesus, come on.
Literally showed up just to cause a fucking crime in court.
He's annoying. I get so mad every time he puts his feet on the bench. I'm like, get those off. We're in a court.
I don't
But
Law, sir.
Forgive my
I
impudence.
do love that he has an unlimited supply of wine behind the desk. I do think that's good because
Yep.
he is constantly chugging and throwing his cup away and pulling up a new cup and pouring a new glass of wine and drinking some wine and crushing it and then like
It's just a wine box underneath.
You know how sometimes like
I'm
people
not
will
losing
do
to
the
this
bit
day drunk asshole.
where they will you know, crouch walk down behind a wall to make it look like they're going down steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does that, like, it's like, excuse me, let me go down to my wine cellar to grab some more wine, and he does that behind the bench, you know, goes down.
Listen, Bear
Grabs another
Buzzings,
bottle,
hey,
comes back up.
I got this a really rare vintage. If you would just simply come down to my wine cellar. Yeah, it's behind this
My-
fucking wall. Come over here, man.
Check it out, bro.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
You mind if I
Ah.
put my bricks up real quick?
Yeah,
Do you mind if I
I'm
clean up a little
remodeling down
bit?
here. Don't worry about the mess.
I think I don't think he's ever gonna get invited to the prosecutor dinner afterwards.
Might be right.
He's just too racist. Like
He's not unbiased.
I'll get Godot in it. That dude's like objectively a murderer, but I'm not gonna get Van Zeeks in. You know, like
He would probably be an issue.
the racism, I agree.
Yeah.
It's the racism and the fact that he's a vampiro, which means I can't put any garlic on the food.
Ugh. Absolutely barbaric.
Yeah, we gotta fucking kill this guy. I weirdly enough, like, Herlock Sholmes doesn't grate me this time around.
He's hardly here, though, to be fair.
And he actually, like, when he is here, he's only helping. Like, this is the one part where he's like not being annoying and in the way.
So like, I think when he's normal and not in the way, I'm like, oh, okay. You could have been like this the whole time. You simply had it in you. You had that dog in you, and you just chose not to. Fucking prick.
Yeah.
I kind of like that we get. I keep switching from Eggert to
Ashley.
Ashley to Grandom to his others. He's literally related to Thrice Fired Mason. We
He's
find
a
out
Milverton as well. Yeah.
that this is related to the court case 2 months ago because he killed Magnus McGilded because Magnus McGilded. The deal just went bad, apparently.
Yeah.
Or like, what I think was most likely what happened is that Thrice Fired Mason was like, I'm not going to do this anymore, and Magnus was like, okay, die.
Yeah. That's something that I guess oftentimes Ace Attorney likes to explain every little detail, but here we never find out what went wrong with that deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if Mason like decided like, hey, I'm going to try to find a way to get this off, this deal to stop, right? I'm going to try to find a way to get McGilded to offer backs or something. You know, we just do not know. All we know is that it ended up with Mason dead.
Mm-hmm.
McGilded just decided to fucking gut him. But yeah, the little bit of the setup is that when Ryunosuke turns over the music box player and discovers that there's 2 discs, you know, basically since Ashley was trying to sell government secrets from his job, he got his dad involved, who was thrice fired Mason from case 3.
He gave his dad money, and then his dad wanted to be involved.
Well, he wanted to get his dad involved because he could make the music boxes, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that, he did not tell his dad what he was going on those discs. He kept him out of it. And his dad, once he found out that he was getting too much money, he was like, wait a minute, this is not on the up and up. And that is when he tried to get the whole thing called off. But that is what they were doing, is splitting up the information onto 2 discs so that there was never one deal happening, which gave Ashley some leverage when dealing with McGilded, right? Here's the music box in disc 1 for deal 1. And then when we meet up the second time, then you'll get disc 2. 2 payments, you know, makes it easier for everybody. And there's less chance of somebody getting stabbed in the back. But obviously that still happened because...
Didn't expect somebody to get stabbed in the front.
Yeah, because Mason tried to wrap things up. So, yeah, so that's kind of like the backstory part there. We get it like a little bit of rules lawyering in the court as well here, in which when we are interrogating, or not interrogating, but, you know, doing our cross-examination with Ashley, we suspend it at one point, if you recall, because when Sholmes appears as the bailiff, the judge says, we're suspending this, you know, cross-examination. And then later that comes back around when you say, well, hang on one second. You didn't end this cross-examination. You merely suspended it. So what if we just resume the cross-examination? And the judge is like, I see what you're doing here. I'm going to let you, but you can only present one piece of evidence to one statement, and that's it. So get it right. So they, you know, that's again part of the trying to ramp up the, you know, the stakes here at the end of the case. Damn. And that's when we present the cat flap-o-mat as well.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
Which then, you know, breaks down the whole door issue, proves that he was lying, and
he did make a deal with Gregson.
And yes, that he did make a deal with Gregson as well. And this is kind of when Gregson starts to freak out. And Ashley, when he does his breakdown, he takes his cane and he smashes it over the witness stand, kind of bending it in half, almost breaking it, and then wraps it around Gregson's neck and tries to choke him out.
Honestly, let him.
I think he's a fun bad guy. My guy does not. That's the only time he cracks is he's like, well, all right, I guess I'll kill this bastard.
Yeah, he's like one of the like bad guys in Ace Attorney that shows up with his middle finger right in your face the whole time he's on screen at any point.
What's also interesting is his motivation, which was at first money, right? Like, it was clearly, I'm leaking government secrets in order to get raw. I want dough. I want that sweet, sweet cash.
Yeah, he grew up poor. He works his way up, quote unquote, through hard work, you know, pulling himself up by his bootstraps. Again, scare quotes around that. You know, makes his way into this new job doing communications work for the government, and then goes, what if I could sell this? And that's when McGilded approaches him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. I thought I kind of interrupted you, so I thought...
No, I do. I'm yawning a little bit because it's a little late. I should have gotten coffee.
That's understandable.
So I think that later on his motivation becomes, Magnus and McGilded killed my father. And I know you did. Die. and I know that he's going to weasel his way out of it. So I'm going to pay off people, and I'm going to get him trapped in a wagon, and I'm going to light that wagon on fire. Now he's once fired Magnus McGilded.
Magnus McGrilded.
Ashley fucking handles it. He's like, okay. No, I got no problems here. I have one end goal, which is you dead. I can cover that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun.
So what happens as a result of this case is that this is simply him just trying to tie up a loose end with the second disc. And all this is a result of that. And he does end up claiming a life because he panicked at the fucking store. Panic at the pawnbrokery.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I shouldn't have brought my gun. I'm so fucking sorry. And I'm like, dude, you did, like, burn a man alive. So I guess, but you have killer's remorse over this. I guess it's good that you have remorse over this.
I think Pop is a good guy.
He didn't deserve to be killed. I agree.
His dad, yeah.
I liked his character design. Yeah, he had a weird vibe. He had kind of an intense vibe, but
the bank, yeah.
But yeah, I liked his design, and in the end, like when he finds out that what Gina wants is to just check on the manuscript, he's like, "Oh, okay."
I just want to go to bed.
Yeah, like, okay, kiddo, like, give me the gun back. Like, you should not carry that.
Yeah, he's like, don't do anything stupid, kid.
Yeah.
I'll let you in and see the stupid manuscript, right? Yeah, so there's definitely a little bit of this, like, kind of... Yeah, there's a sad vibe here, because he is just like, all right, kid, don't worry. It's all right, don't do something that'll get you in trouble for life. Let's just see the manuscript, and I'll let you go on your way.
He has humanity.
Then Zeke says the line, "You've become the very monster you sought to destroy, Graydon, by using the same methods that he did." And part of me is just like, no, Magnus McGilded was a little bit more evil, I think. He definitely, like, was stealing from people constantly and was doing all sorts of crimes. And also...
A counterpoint, Van Zeeks is absolutely the kind of guy who's like, I gazed too long into the abyss, and now I am, like, also bad guy. And I'm like, well, you are, but not because of the abyss.
No, you're bad because you hate other races. Like, that's
bad to do. I know we're really just starting to work that out, but we are working it out. Just saying.
Yeah.
We get Graydon's monologue. We get Gregson, who said the line, "Whatever I did for the Queen and country," and that almost gets the jury, and then we go, "No, let's play the fucking disc, idiot. Let's see what you're doing. I'm curious what you have going on." Motherfucker. You make it a point to be like, I have to admit to my sins of letting Magnus McGilded, like, acquitted, and I will own up to that. And then you go, I will also release government secrets during this court case if you do not fucking admit what you were doing, sir.
I'm taking all of us down with me. And honestly, like, what you do is not even that bad. Because you don't know you're being presented with false evidence.
Right.
You are not the person who is committing perjury. It is, like, demonstrably true that you didn't know about it. And in fact...
I mean, there's a reason McGilded essentially either... Originally, he assumed, oh, I'm not going to get any attorney. I have everything set up to defend myself. And then when he gets gifted an attorney, he realizes, well, I'm not going to look this gift horse in the mouth because this attorney has just showed up from overseas, has no idea what's going on, has no idea about my reputation, and assumes, almost rightfully, that he'll be easy enough to manipulate and use as a tool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yes, Ryunosuke is I don't want to say fully a victim here, but he's at least partially a victim in this because McGilded has, like, structured this court case to, ensure that he gets off scot-free in the first place.
Yeah, and you have an option. Like, you can attempt to continue the case.
Right.
And they don't let you do it, but you can try to prolong the case. to try and figure out the right answer, and you just can't because you don't have the tools for it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
A really good tie-in with that case.
Yeah. I think the other thing that's interesting here then is when you do play the disc for the entire court, everybody's like, damn, that does sound more like Morse code now. But after a minute or two, then the juror number 5, she finally says, yeah, but that's not Morse code the way I know it. And then we're like, well, hey, we got Gregson to admit to everything, though, so I guess it's okay.
You sound technically
and that's
secrets if no one can understand them.
And Runosuke is like, wait, play it again. I gotta figure this out. And everyone was like, no. And he's like, no, please. It's gonna bother me.
Yeah. But thankfully, Iris is able to memorize it the very first time she hears it and transcribes it down into her notebook so that she can translate it later. Which it's then revealed that it is specifically Japanese style Morse code.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, I know a little bit of it. I glanced once at a translation of Japanese Morse code, so I can kind of do it. It's not perfect, but here's kind of what I figured out.
And then here it is perfectly done, which is Asogi. What a weird name, Asogi. And meanwhile, I'm like, oh, Asogi! No!
You just watch like both Susato and Runosuke take like psychic damage. Just the Minecraft goof noise. Just
yeah.
Fucking my brain like changes. I'm like, oh, my friend,
My buddy, my pal.
my friend who died so tragically for no reason. And
I'm
just
glad that we were able to cut
an
up with
awful
Susato
accident.
and go like, hey, listen, what you did wasn't that bad. Who like gives a shit? Like, you know, you have to play yourself for this one, Captain. It's pretty normal what you did. And then she's like, don't worry, I'll definitely come back. And we go, really? And she goes, yeah, I still have to tell you guys what I know about the Hound of the Baskervilles. And we all go, you can't tell us now? Or you gotta cut...
The ship's leaving.
Ship's leaving. Of course, the ship's leaving. Of course, the ship's leaving. What was I thinking? The ship's leaving.
Can she send us a telegram?
No, that might be intercepted and turned into Morse code and used in the murder case 2 months from now.
Yeah, you're right.
We can't let that happen. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna sell those secrets.
You know? I would, but my hands are tied, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Dude, what a game. What an interesting game. I kind of love it.
I guess let me I think this is maybe a good time for me to bring up one of my little historical bits here. And introduce you all to Yasuyuki Makino. He is the main producer of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which again is what we call both of these games when they were collected together and re-released in HD on modern consoles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So he was main producer for just the re-release. And he wrote a blog post back in 2021 when the game first came out, talking about the process that he went through for this. And interestingly enough, he was actually not a game developer for a large portion of his life. And as an adult, eventually played Apollo Justice and was like, damn, this is a really good game. What the hell? Like, this is like a cool game about courtroom and lawyers. And like, also, I never would have expected to like play a game that's like about, the way he describes it at the time is like something so boring and making it exciting, you know? And he fell in love with it, went back and played the original trilogy and said, you know what? I love these games so much that I'm going to go try to get a job at the company that made these games.
Holy shit.
So he goes to Capcom and applies for a job. And even during his job interview, he says, I quote, I love the Ace Attorney series and I hope to have the chance to produce an entry in it someday. And he was hired.
Aw.
So when
Capcom,
Great Ace Attorney...
call us.
Capcom, call us!
Yeah.
Apollo Justice 2 would go so hard!
So when Great Ace Attorney is being released on the 3DS, he got a chance to work on it a little bit for the marketing and promotion for the game. He did some stuff for the website, like little promotional games and quizzes that were just, you know, things you'd click on the website, like, try these logic puzzles, and then click here to watch the trailer, So
the only
he did
logic puzzle I'm good at is Sudoku.
Yeah, yep. Brain
that
teasers,
logic?
that kind of thing. So he did all that for the website and had a little bit of fun working on that, as well as some of the, like, I guess, some of their like little promotional videos that were like skits that they did as well with the characters. And then he was involved in some of the post-launch stuff as well. So since we're kind of starting to talk about the end of this game, I'm going to read a little quote from his blog post talking about the launch of the game when it came out on 3DS, just game 1. And then it was launch day. Ooh, looks like everyone is really loving it. This is great, I thought over the first weekend. And by Monday, there was a sea of online store reviews. Players brought up all sorts of things, but the one that kept coming up was, quote, "This game is the worst of the worst because it's incomplete." Even though I wasn't directly involved in the game's development, the storm of terrible reviews was heartbreaking. My boss at the time told me to document all the reviews I could. So, with tears in my eyes for a game that I loved and a dev team I respected, I read each review one by one and collected them into a report. It was so hard and I was so miserable that it really brought me down. After that, I began my work on a different title, so I wasn't able to help with the 3DS version of the second game, which came out 2 years later. So he was kind of on the receiving end of all of the critical reaction to the game from fans, which, as you can tell from that quote, was not very positive. People did not like
wild.
the cliffhanger in Japan.
I feel like maybe we're more used to them over here. I don't know.
It's not necessarily that I'm used to it, but rather I kind of knew about. Like, here's the thing: is that I would assume Rose get the benefit of being able to play this game, when there's a sequel,
knowing that there's an immediate next one.
I try to know nothing as much as possible, and when it pays off, it pays off. But
yeah, unfortunately, we are in a position where it's that, like, we cannot avoid knowing about the sequel. So we have this, like,
I don't think there was any doubt in anyone's mind at that point that there was going to be another one with how, like, yeah, it's a cliffhanger.
But, like, I think people are so used to having the, like, final case be a final case, right? Like,
yeah,
every other Ace Attorney game, the arc is completed in that game. This is the only game where that does not happen. And, like, I could see how it would cause, like, disruption amongst the fans. But I can't feel that emotion because I know that the second one does exist, is real, and it's in my Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know that you can play it in, like, a couple weeks, right?
Exactly.
You can start it up very soon as a result.
You have to wait 2 years.
So, trying to take this game from the perspective of someone who doesn't know if Capcom's gonna exist next year, it's tough,
right? Especially for a series like Ace Attorney, where
Capcom will be fine. They have the Monster Hunter floaties on, so.
Yeah, there were sequels, but yeah, they did not have the Monster Hunter floaties on. I mean, no, that's true. That's actually not entirely true, I guess.
I was going to say, this game came out when Monster Hunter World was out, too, so.
It was always huge in Japan, so that was always a kind of a little bit of a buffer for them, no matter what. But, so, Yasuyuki continues in his blog post, talks about how the reception for the second game was much more positive, right? Fans were like, oh, here we go. It wraps up the story. Yay, I like this, He says that he cried at the end of the credits for game 2. And then he also says then, basically, let's see, where was I picking up here? As I said, I had chosen to come to Capcom because of my love for Ace Attorney. And after a great many talks with the original dev members, I began to believe that perhaps it was my calling to try to reintroduce the Great Ace Attorney to Japanese players and finally introduce it to the rest of the world. I'd worked on a few games by that point and gained some experience as a producer, so one day at a meeting with my boss, the one who told me to write up all those reviews into a report, I boldly proposed, hey, let me start a project to bring the two games together and port them to current gen platforms. I believe it will absolutely sell, so please give me a chance to show you. And, to my surprise, he simply answered, I see. Well, I won't say no just yet, so why don't you try and come up with a report and a plan first, and then we can go from there. In that moment, I could hear the doors to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles project creak open. So he then talks a little bit about the process of getting the crew together to make the game and up-res it and all the work that they needed to do to port it. But it is quite literally, I don't want to say it's all thanks to one guy that this game got localized, because obviously tons of people worked on this project. But one man basically loved Ace Attorney so much that he got a job at Capcom and was then the person to stick his foot in the door and kind of creak it open just enough to say, hey, what if we remaster these games and finally ported them over to Western audiences so that they can enjoy them in English?
I'm picturing a slightly ajar door and some lips peeking through, like, hey, what if we did Ace Attorney again?
So
again.
Yeah. So I do think we owe a decent amount of thanks to Yasuyuki Makino for doing
Thanks,
that.
Yasuyuki Makino.
And I hope he was happy with the reception for these two games when they came out here for everybody else. But yeah, I figured that was important to note here, both for how the game was received at the time in Japan and also how it eventually came out here.
It always just like, I know this game didn't come out in America right away, and I always forget that you played a fan translation first, and that was how you played it the first time. It's like the timelines are getting screwed up in my head.
Yeah, I mean, again, obviously we played the fan translation for Investigations 2 because when we were doing that project at the time, the Investigations collection had not been announced.
Yeah.
Now you have much more easier access to those games. And for a long time, a similar fate was thought to befall Great Ace Attorney, right? It had not come out in the US for many years, and it was stuck on 3DS, so fans did start to try to translate it, and they completed the first game entirely. So back in the day, before it had ever been announced for America, I was able to play this game fully originally, on a 3DS,
fan
translation, with different names and everything and all that stuff.
I remember I do recall this now that I'm thinking about it, of all the hype that you had around wanting to play it. You're like, somebody gets translated. Like, yep. Oh my God.
And now I own the game for real, thanks to localization. But yeah, so that as far as this cliffhanger with these names, I guess I want to ask both of you two questions. One, obviously you said the cliffhanger does not bother you guys too much, which is fine. But
yeah, because this is there's not even we're just going on to the next case next.
I feel like I can't quite weigh in on that one fairly because I have I'm literally looking at my the box that I have, which has both of them on there. I know already, and I think discussed it earlier, just being this story isn't going to be finished. Which I guess is, I feel like I've played the first half of a game.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of this has been quite fun. I'm glad we solved that one thing, but not really. Let's see where it's going,
But yeah, so since I can't really ask that first question, my second question instead then would be, well, what do you think this means? What are your predictions? What do you think? Where do you think this is going? What are these are government secrets? We know that much. They were being hidden for some reason, and obscured. And McGilded was buying them for some reason. So what do these names mean?
And they do keep
we
mentioning
know 3 of them,
Great Britain's enemies are intercepting them, and an Irish guy is buying these government secrets, and I'm What's going on here, guys?
The Irish
then
are
it's in
actually really
Japanese Morse
funny,
code.
guys.
You think it's the IRA?
No.
The Irish?
That's gonna come later.
Yeah, the timeline doesn't quite work out for
We're
that
not
one.
we're not gonna get anywhere near that.
Oh, okay.
But yes, we have Kei Asogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, and J. Wilson. The three of those names we know.
A. Shin could be anyone.
I guess we gotta go find that guy.
We have to go find that guy. Who's A. Shin? It's a mystery.
Could be anybody.
Jay Wilson's more common than H.
Yeah.
We gotta tell Iris her dad's dead.
Oh, what if he's not dead? What if
He's
what if
so dead, bro.
No, he's dead.
He's dead as fuck.
That sounds like a spoiler. What if he's not? Haha.
Haha, I think he totally is, and we're just delaying the inevitable. We're her friends.
I could do that.
He does have an autopsy report and everything.
We could tell
What
Hurley,
if
and
it's
then
a different guy?
I don't. Come on, dude.
Or it's not the same.
There's
Wilson.
no way another traveling doctor from Britain went to the same university and got killed. Come on. It's that guy.
Not killed, you mean?
Not killed. It's gotta be him. It's gotta be. He's dead.
I think we should go get that lady from the first case.
Oh, yeah. Her name's
Oh, the
probably
SWAT
A.
hat
Shin or
lady?
whatever.
No,
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure.
We never even saw her fucking face.
Oh no, I'm yawning. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Don't yawn. You're
Everything
gonna make
happened
me
so
yawn.
much. I'm sorry.
Ah.
But why is Asogi on here? Why is Gregson on here?
I cannot figure out the link between those two people, if I'm honest.
The four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Well,
It
okay.
seems kind of shady that you would put Gregson on the case where his name is involved. Like, that
Two-
seems...
Two
He
He
of
didn't, he didn't know his name was on this list.
he
'cause he
can't
didn't- he-
understand Japanese Morse
He
code.
didn't understand Japanese Morse code, yeah.
He'd probably
Okay.
be fucking shocked to know that it was him.
So
Yeah.
2 out of the 4 names on the list, those people are dead
Mm-hmm.
hmm
that we know of. 2 of them are dead. We got one unknown, and Gregson was alive when we last saw him. Who the fucking knows?
You let him leave your sights. Now God
So
is in
not
God's hands.
not quite enough to make a connection yet. My prediction is, yeah, I'm just gonna pull it out like it's a prediction for next case. Let's see. The Asogi had to do a secret thing in Great Britain that we still don't know about.
Right.
I think he had to go. His his dad was the guy who portrayed Van Zeeks, and he's got to come back to apologize. That was what he was supposed to do. Be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to betray you. Oh no, I see you've become extremely racist in my father's absence. Awesome. I take it back.
Actually, you don't deserve it.
Actually, I'll kill you.
He does have.
My
He
sword.
did have a sword. He was bringing that sword.
That's true. He did bring a sword.
It's an execution sport,
mean,
actually.
Strongheart, strong Maelstrom.
What the
Yeah,
fuck
whatever,
is his
that
name?
guy.
Maelstrom,
He's definitely-
Maelstrom,
Chief
Strong-
Prosecutor
Strongheart.
guy?
He did.
He's definitely the bad guy.
Oh,
He-
Chief
he
Justice?
did-
Yeah.
Yeah, he did ask, Ryunosuke, are you prepared to do everything Asogi was gonna do? Are you sure? And Ryunosuke was like, uh-huh.
Oh.
He's like,
I mean,
okay.
yeah, if you'll just tell me what it is, dude.
Gives him
So-
a loaded gun. Sounds good, sir. Welcome to English law. First things first, choose a race of people to dislike. You must have one before the end of the day. And it can't be Britain.
Damn.
Shit.
I know. You
That
thought
was my first pick.
You're not the first one to try to use that one. And you
thought
won't
you
be
were
the
clever.
last.
No, you can't wish for more wishes.
I don't know what the theme song of Britain, the national anthem of Britain was, so I was just gonna start singing "Oh Canada."
Isn't it? Oh God, I don't even know.
It's God Save the Queen.
I don't
Well,
know.
not anymore. It's not.
Didn't they change it? Doesn't it get changed because
Yeah,
there's
well,
a
okay.
king in place now?
Yes, it is now God Save the King. At this time, it would be God Save the Queen.
God,
Okay.
And
save
also, a
the
lot of British
Queen.
people keep accidentally singing God Save the Queen because she was queen for...
It's been that for so long.
Yeah, she was queen for a really long time, and
For the
my understanding is a lot of them
holy
don't care
light.
for the king. No, I love what you're cooking, Tiago.
I think they're done with the monarchy, and that's okay.
Oh,
They
surprise!
should be done with the monarchy.
If I start talking about my feelings about
The monarchy.
the British monarchy, I'm gonna say some rude words, perhaps.
Rose,
Well,
you're
table that for the future. You never
Yeah,
know
we
what might
can
come
do
up.
that next time.
we're from Boston, Massachusetts. We fucking throw their shit into the
Yeah,
harbor.
put it right in the harbor.
I'll fuck them up. I'll fuck Zanzig's up. I'll fuck Strongheart up. I'll fuck Gregson up. I'll fuck the Queen up. I don't give a shit.
He's honestly, he's German. Like, look
Nah,
at him.
he acts like a really huge patriot for Britain, though.
I don't know if he does. I think he's
Yeah,
kind of
he was willing to let
lukewarm
those
on
secrets
Great
just-
Britain.
Go free.
Yeah, he was ready to let those secrets go.
I think he's indifferent.
I think if I were to suck his blood, I'd get drunk.
That is definitely
Blood
true.
alcohol levels are off the charts for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yep. Now here's one other question. If we're doing predictions, I do want to ask one other question for y'all. Now, Ace Attorney has a long and storied history of having to come up with wacky, bizarro reasons for you to have a tutorial case in the next game. Getting whacked on the head with a fire extinguisher so you lose your memory, or whatever, going back in time and playing as your mentor, as Mia. We always have to come up with some wacky, strange, bizarre reason for how you can finagle a tutorial case back in. So what's your prediction for a tutorial case for game 2? How are we going to make this happen? Is Ryunosuke going to get hit on the head with a fire extinguisher?
Those haven't been invented yet.
Is Ryunosuke going to get hit on the head by a pail full of water
Okay.
that was sitting in the corner of the courtroom?
It's like the water
Iris is
bin
gonna
on the
test a new
on the
device
top
on
of
him
the
that
Yeah.
wipes his memory.
He gets body switched with Harlock Holmes, and Harley has to do it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have an honest prediction, but I'm gonna let Rose go first.
No,
Oh,
I think
okay.
the body swap one is the one.
Okay.
No, we're gonna get hit in the head with another fire extinguisher for sure this time.
My honest prediction is that I think it's going to be a flashback, and I think it's going to be a Sogi's first court case.
Oh,
okay.
that makes way more sense
They're going to pull a
than
Mia
what I was
Fey.
doing, which was looking up when fire extinguishers were invented.
Well, think about it, right? Like, Asogi's essentially the Mia Fey. Oh my god, Asogi's the Mia Fey. I just grokked that. I was trying to figure out...
You have said those words specifically on this podcast before.
I know what I just remembered. Asogi's the Mia Fey of us, right? So, like,
Mhm.
it only makes sense that if we're wrapping up his story, they do it in parallel. It rhymes, That's Ace Attorney's about rhyming. We're gonna rhyme, baby. And if this doesn't happen, you, the listener, give me $1.
If it doesn't happen,
hang
you
on.
give me $1.
Listener, you do not
Okay.
have to abide by any legal agreements that Tiago proposes.
I have excellent news. It is possible for us to be hit in the head with an early portable pressurized fire extinguisher.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
hell yes.
Is that real?
Perfect.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay, I believe you. That's my
it
prediction.
got invented by British people, actually.
Oh god, it's really gonna happen.
I hear they have an issue with fires, so.
Well, we don't know exactly what year it is, so I'm not going to make any direct claims, but I think it
Yeah.
is possible.
I'm really bad at history.
It seems
Was there
like
a
they
really
don't
big
have them
fire?
because at the very least they had fires in the
bridge.
courtroom.
The Bridge of London.
You know,
What happened to the bridge?
They're gonna
went
want
long
the
enough
fire
to burn
extinguishers
somebody.
for that.
What happened to the bridge, Des?
It caught on fire.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was burning down. London Bridge was burning
I
down.
thought that was just a
Burning down.
song. That really happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thank you for the honesty.
Yeah.
History lesson here on Updated
so-
Autopsy Report. Thank you.
History's my worst subject, bro. I'm not good at it.
Oh.
I can't tell if you're being serious or not.
No, I'm dead ass. I didn't know. I didn't know that
I
was real.
I was there.
Yes.
Rose
Rose was
there.
there. She watched it happen. She let it happen.
Rose lit it. Rose was smoking a
Rose.
cigarette on the bridge.
I meant while you were not learning history, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you were.
I also am the person who set London Bridge on fire.
I went to high school with Rose, and she actively saw me fucking fail through my history classes.
That's okay. You watch me fail through math. It's a quality.
It's a quality.
Artists shaking each other's hands.
I really like the ending sequence, though. It's really wonderful.
You mean with them walking in the credits?
In the credit sequence, what happens is, it is like, you start off with Ryunosuke and Asogi walking, and, like, you walk past, like, all the characters who are involved in the court cases, and when you get to the ship, he stays behind because he doesn't continue on the journey anymore, but then, like, Susato joins
That made me
you.
really sad.
That was so sad, bro. When Asogi stopped moving, I was fucked up. And then you approach Susato from the other side, and Susato hands you the sword. And, like, then you two start walking, but this time you have the sword and the armband, and Susato's behind you.
It's good shit.
What got me fucked up is that when you run into Hurley, he stands directly behind me, and I don't think he's allowed to do that. He should stand behind Susato. And then, you know what I mean? Like, Susato should be closer.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to point out you've been calling him Hurley now, which is Iris's cutesy nickname for him.
I also think I want to call him Hurley.
It's easier to say.
I think he's Hurley, you know? Like, that's...
Okay, he's
No, we
starting
lived
to
with him.
grow on you. He's starting to grow on you.
Oh, like a mold. Like a fucking, like a fucking
Just like a
growth.
mold.
Oh, I can't cut him off.
But yeah, we for the credits are kind of like two parts, right? We get our traditional Ace Attorney credits bit where we see our little dialogue boxes from each person that we defended and some of the witnesses along the way. You know, we see the Skulkin brothers in prison, that kind of thing. We see Gina as well, and all these characters, show up and give their little "where are they?" A couple days after kind of thing. Where are they now?
Yeah.
And then we get the walking credits for like all the extended staff. We see all the extra credits. Localization staff are in there too, voice actors, all that stuff. Then, because guess what? These games have grown exponentially and have very large staff crews now compared to like the 20 people that made the original games, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's it's really nice to see all those names and the cool little walking animations with every character that you've met throughout the game. And then it dumps you back out at the screen. And also, I don't know if anybody noticed, but the main screen changes with each case, including this final one where now it shows the docs like at morning when you're on the main title screen, kind of where Sholmes was playing his violin right as Susato sailed away.
I did in fact notice that.
I did notice that. I want to
some nice little touches,
I do not control the button, so I didn't notice that.
What's fucked up is that now that Herlock Sholmes got shot, I feel no vitriol towards him. Like,
he got his
I got what I wanted,
comments.
and I still feel kind of empty. Maybe I should shoot Fanzeeks. Maybe that'll make me feel better.
It can't hurt to try again. We need a larger sample size.
Oh, I could shoot Hurley again. That's a good point. I didn't consider that option.
We could do that too.
Give it another shot just to make sure it sticks this time.
Yeah.
I hope in the next game that Stereoscope guy comes back. I can't wait to see even more funny little jury members. Somehow the jury members have enraptured me. I kind of love them.
Yeah, listen, we're all Muppet pilled here.
We're all Muppet filled. I love... My favorite jury member this time around was the Russian guy. Just because I know deep down he's probably killed more people than everyone in this room combined.
Probably.
But he was doing his
it
best.
depends on how many lives did Garadeb take in the name of the Queen, as you said.
Oh, true. They could be, like, enemies. They could be, like, the strongest sorcerer of all history versus the strongest sorcerer of today, you know? Just like Gojo versus Sukuna.
I'm not quite sure I follow, but sure.
Honestly, I'm not even, like, I read all of JJK, and I can't even commit to that bit. So you can leave it there if you'd like.
Okay.
Yeah, man, you can talk to me anytime.
Thanks, Gumby.
Oh my goodness.
Alrighty. Well,
They made a callback to a joke we made before the podcast started, the thing that I get yelled at for all the time.
What are you talking about? We do that every single podcast.
Everyone always has to say, oh, you can't make a joke about something that's not on the podcast. Fuck you.
I think that may have happened once.
Your Honor, I'm simply just here.
It still hurts. It still hurts, Rose.
Also, I don't remember it, so it didn't happen.
I'll defend my client, Des. I have faith in her, 100%.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Well, did anybody have any last thoughts about the game as a whole before we call it here?
Hey,
Ryunosuke's cute.
who the fuck were those two guys outside of Soseki's apartment? Who the fuck were those guys?
You know...
Who the fuck were those guys?
I just figured we'd get to them eventually.
What? We didn't get to them! We didn't get to them!
We're not done!
Is
I feel like I can't
so
even comment
funny.
on this game because it feels like half a game.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the most recent Spider-Man Miles Morales movie.
Oh, the
I
Spider-Verse
suppose
2?
there's worse things to be compared to.
Edge of
Yeah.
Spider-Verse. Because we don't get the whole story yet. Once we get the whole story, we're gonna pop the hell off.
Mm-hmm. We'll have so many things to say.
I want to put Soseki in my pocket and keep him.
I'm gonna look up to see if there's a Soseki toy.
Careful what you look up.
Yeah, be
Alright,
careful.
never mind. I'm not allowed to look up Soseki. God.
So,
Spoilers.
anyway. All right. Well, I think then that will do it for us this time, folks. We would like to thank you so much for listening along as we have made our way through a whole other Ace Attorney game here. I want to just let everybody know that a little bit of housekeeping here. Next time, we will be taking a little bit of a break. We're going to skip one episode here. There might be a little filler informational episode in the feed just to let you know that we're taking a break, but we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back the next episode after that with case 1 of game 2. So just prepare yourselves for that. We'll be taking an episode off.
We're in the
there
final stretch,
as we kind
y'all.
of deal with some life stuff and catch up with some backlog stuff and just get all that sorted before we go into game 2. So apologies for the delay, but we'll be back soon.
Life happens.
You can keep up with the show and everything that we do at updatedautopsy.report, which has links to everything, as including all of our social media accounts. And you can also there watch all of our Let's Plays with Dessy and I playing through the game at youtube.com/@Yotsben.
With Iro.
And yes, Iro's on the show as well in the rotating guest chair. He just always seems to show up in that guest chair. You can follow me on all social media at Yotsben. Dessy, where can people find you?
Maybe sitting at my desk. I just got some fun new stuff for my drawing tablet, so.
Okay. And Tiago?
You can find me at Tiago S. Deisher on the website formerly known as Twitter. Currently playing through Final Fantasy VII. Just got through the Whirlwind Maze. Shout out to Tifa, best girl.
And Rose?
You can find me at Rose Nonsense on various social media websites, and you can find me teaching my coworkers how to play D&D. I don't know where yet. We're gonna find out. Somebody's house.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. We hope you'll rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. If you write a funny 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, we might just read it on the show. Next time, like I said, we'll be taking a short break, but then after that, we'll dive into the first case of the Great Ace Attorney Resolve. See you next time. Bye.
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 Drink your water.
Now, the two of you I thought might ask me, hey, what's the title of the first case of Game 2? You normally read that out, Ben, don't you? And you know what? I'm not going to say it because you guys might think about it too much next time and start to figure some things out.
We might think about it? Okay.
Yeah, you might think about it a little too much and start to get some ideas about what might happen in that case. So we're going to...
Oh, it's going to immediately tell us if we get hit in the head with a fire extinguisher or not.
Turnabout flashback.
Yeah.
Turnabout, Asogi's the main character.
Turnabout fire extinguisher
Ryunosuke
2.
dies.
Dude, that straight up would happen in fucking Dragon Ball Z. That was so hard for me to summon. Holy shit.
That's alright.
We made it.
We made
All
it.
right, we made it.
Okay.
Good job.